Hi, my name's Mark. I oversee the Wildfowl and Wetlands Trust work with schools. Welcome to the first of our Make It videos. This week we'll be making a mini pond for your garden, yard or balcony. Building a pond is one of the best things you can do to attract wildlife to your garden. My favourites are frogs, toads and newts, and you'll attract those as well as a whole host of smaller creatures. They'll also provide somewhere for larger animals to come and drink and have a bath. It really will add something to your garden. For this activity you will need a small trowel or something to dig out your pond if you're going to lower it into the ground. A watertight container approximately this size. I've just used an old cracker tin, but you could just as easily use a washing up bowl or something similar. Some smaller stones or gravel to line the bottom of your pond. Some bigger pebbles or stones, or you could just as easily use twigs or sticks. This is going to provide something for the animals to get in and out of your pond. And if you have some, you could also put in some pond plants, but this isn't essential. You then need to choose a location for your pond. You want a location that's not in the sunlight all day, but does get some sunlight for at least part of the day. You also don't want it under a tree because we don't want the pond to fill up with leaves. This sort of position would be ideal because this was in full sunlight earlier, but now we're in the afternoon into the early evening, it's just coming into shade. If you're digging your pond into the ground, you'll need to dig a hole just slightly larger than the container. First, just mark around the outside of your container so you can see exactly where you need to dig the hole. Then you'll need to dig out your hole, lower the container in, and then use the soil that you've dug out just to fill in any remaining gaps around the sides. Just make sure it's flush with the ground. If any of bits of soil went in, doesn't matter if there's a few bits left in the bottom, but any of the bigger bits, just take those out, and then you're ready to start putting things in. Now we want to add a small layer of stones or gravel into the bottom. These were just collected from around the garden. Try to put enough in to completely cover the bottom of the container. Now comes the really important bit, because you've got to make sure that the creatures can get in and out of your pond. First, take some sticks or medium-sized pebbles and just add some of those around the edges. Then you can take either a large stick, or in this case I'm going to use some larger pieces of rock just to make sure there's a nice stepping stone so that any animals can now get in and out quite easily, and if anything was to accidentally fall in, it can easily climb back out of your pond. And if you're not digging it into the ground, you're just going to place it on your patio or another hard surface. Just make sure you put some stepping stones, either using stones or again you could use sticks or twigs, just so that the animals can climb up, get into the pond and of course make their way back out again. Now it's just a case of filling your pond. In this case I'm going to use water from our water butt, but you could just as easily use water from a container you've collected from the rain, or you could use tap water, but in that case you'll just need to leave it a couple of days before any animals are likely to use it. In those couple of days all the chemicals in the water will dissipate. If you've got some pond plants and want to add them in as a nice added extra, then that can help, but don't worry if you haven't got these. Now of course you could just leave it like that, the wildlife won't mind what it looks like, but if you want to make it blend in a little bit more with your garden, you could use some more larger stones just to make a little decorative border around the outside and just help to hide the container itself. And that's it. All that's left to do is sit back, relax, and wait for the wildlife to come and enjoy your new pond. Thanks for joining us for week 1 of our Make It videos. Next week we'll be making a horn for a frog or a toad, some of my favourite animals. So I look forward to seeing you then.